Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to be with you and share the news with you. But, folks, big news dropping today as the revelations of fraud in the state of Minnesota keep getting larger, more players involved. The money total is going up. And to talk about this important subject, I'm bringing along George the Great from Colorado.
Neil, I don't know why you even bother doing My Pillow when you could just join in on this fraud going on with Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. This money just keeps growing, man. It's like Barron Trump's height. It's just exponential.
It's really unbelievable, isn't it, George? I mean, have you? Yeah. So I was always saying it was billions. I didn't ever go with those numbers of a billion. I kept saying it was billions because I knew this is like government budgets. You know, when they tell you something's going to come in at 400 million, it comes in at 800 million. Well, this is even big in that term because we were told $1 billion, and now it's looking like the fraud is up around 7 or is it 8 billion? 8 billion, right?
Well, you know, Neil, you should probably be really grateful for the Somalians because, according to reports, they generate like $500 million annually in tax. Well, they contribute $500 million to the economy, and it's like $50 million to Minneapolis taxes. So you should be really grateful that they're stealing $7 billion, but they're giving you $50 million in return. So
that's right. That's like a good return. Tim Walz would probably call that a good return on your investment, George. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I remember he told. Did he tell people to dump their 401? What did he tell people to do? And then their investments skyrocketed.
Oh yeah. Well, he wanted to dump Tesla.
Oh yeah, and then Tesla is like now double what it was at that point. So
it's wild. Let me. I gotta go. Oh shoot, I forgot to do something here, but I want to play this one, folks. So big new revelations involving Ilhan Omar, then involving the total. Now moving up to 7 billion. I'm going to share some throwback video from Ilhan Omar that's going to blow your mind. But let's start with this.
Now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
I mean, so this is wild. It's just, it's every picture every Democrat has is with a Somalian fraudster now.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
It's just epic. Oh, hey, as more people are joining the stream, do me a favor, folks. Please do smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from, if you would. I always love to see who's on the stream. And also go check out my sponsor. That's MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack for big savings on the best sleep products available. Folks, we now have the premium My Pillows at 50% off. We've got the slippers down to $39.98, and you get the free leather protectant. There's just deals abounding. And my favorite product of all time, the Giza Sheets. If you don't have Giza Sheets, you don't know what you're missing out on. Go get yourself some. It'll literally change your life. It's Donald Trump's favorite product. That's all I need to say about it. It's Donald Trump's favorite product. You can sleep like a president.
These are the best pillows I've ever had. They're great pillows. I'm telling you. There's pillows, and then there's pillows, you know, and these are great pillows. Huge.
Here, I want to share another clip from Fox. They're reporting on the new total of $7 billion.
Investigators are finding in Minnesota is growing by the day. Kelly Loeffler, who leads the Small Business Administration, says in the 2 days,
it's growing by the minute, folks. You don't even need a day for the fraud to be growing in Minnesota right now.
Her agency has been investigating the state. They've uncovered at least $1 million in PPP fraud just 2 days in. Several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have also told lawmakers they believe the total amount of fraud could total up to more than $8 billion. Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But he says they have paused these programs. They've brought in outside auditors to get an idea of how far-reaching this fraud was. They're taking steps to keep it from happening again. And he's defending his management of the state while also taking shots at Republicans and the president.
Okay, George, this is so funny to me. Okay, so they're investigating themselves. Now they're talking about bringing in outside auditors, right? But who's overseeing the outside auditors?
It's going to be Tim Walz.
Tim Walz, exactly. So everything that they have done so far in their quote unquote dealing with the fraud has all been them doing their own internal investigating.
Yeah. Well, I thought this didn't happen, actually. I thought there was no fraud going on. Why would he need to investigate something he said wasn't going on?
Well, now he can't deny it. So now he's got, so this is the standard tactic of the Democrats, George. This. That first something's happening and they tell you it's not happening. Then when it is happening, they tell you, well, it's not as bad as
it's not widespread fraud.
No, not widespread fraud. That's right.
Not widespread.
2020, my friend.
Yep. It's not widespread fraud. It's there and in between. It's rare instances. It's isolated. And the system isn't wrong. There's no systemic fraud with the Somalis stealing billions. And Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, has a huge real estate boom, as well as areas in Kenya. Kenyan people are trying to kick the Somalis out because the Somalis in the United States are sending money to Nairobi, and they're purchasing all kinds of real estate and building all kinds of things, precious real estate that the Kenyans want for themselves. So they're literally stealing money here and building their wealth in Nairobi, Kenya. Like there's literally like a meme that some of the richest real estate people in Nairobi are Minnesotan Somalis. How crazy is that?
Well, okay. So do you know here, and I'm going to send one more video in here to the stream. I got to send it over from my phone, but I've got a throwback video of Ilhan Omar I want to share too. But I find it really fascinating right now that that's a screen record. Shoot. Where is that one going to be, George? That clip's got to be up on X. I pulled it off of Fox News. But there's pictures of Ilhan with all these people. But I want to go back to this throwback video with Ilhan Omar, because I think this kind of tells you everything you need to know about this stuff.
Is it the one where she's sitting in her congressional office announcing all these different funds and grants going to these NGOs, to these Somalian communities?
No, this is the one where she tells everybody that they need to use their political capital and make people who don't agree with them pay a price.
Well, literally political capital, because she's sending all this money to her people. So, but yeah, I'd love to see that, because I haven't seen that before.
Trump and his cronies want to act like we have no power to respond. The truth is we are more powerful than we think we are. And I want to underscore the importance of using every single leverage that we have at our arsenal, because we do have a lot of leverage. We need to make sure that those who are collaborating with the authoritarian regime pay a costly price.
It's very costly. It's now $8 billion. We definitely felt that costliness.
I don't think that's what she's exactly talking about, George. I think because this is talking to, her community, and that those people who, because you remember out of Minneapolis, there was that guy last year who made a video that got widely circulated about Donald Trump, and he was in Trump's camp. And that's what she's talking about. People in the Somalian community not towing the line. It's like, George, for example, you understand this well because you're a fine young black conservative, as Joe Biden would call you.
I'm not a black conservative. I'm a black Christian nationalist. I have ascended to the next point. Yeah, go ahead.
But here's the thing, right? If in politics, if anybody leaves the plantation, right, of Democrat voters in the inner city, they're ostracized, man.
Of course.
And that's exactly what she's talking about, and making sure they pay a price.
Okay. So within their own ranks, they pay a price.
Yes. And that price that they're going to pay, see, this is very similar. She's talking about authoritarian regimes.
Yeah.
You should know all about that. It's called Somalia. They're sending money back to Al-Shabaab.
Well, that's the problem with Somalia that Trump keeps mentioning, and globalist liberals lose their minds every time he says it. He consistently says Somalia has no government because literally the federal government of Somalia is useless. You have these different areas that are run by warlords, and that's their jurisdiction, and the federal government can't touch any of them. It's clan warfare, it's tribalism, and so it's really not a country at all. It's like a chaotic mess of regions. You know, there's an area of Somalia that wants the United States to recognize them as an independent state, Somaliland, because they don't want to be part of that whole thing. So it's a disaster. And here's something I think needs to be talked about. If it was just the case in Minnesota that Somalians were scamming people, but they didn't do it anywhere else, it'd be one thing. But the problem is there's a global Somalian diaspora. They're in the UK, they're in Sweden, they're in Norway, they're all over the world, they're in Kenya. And in every single place, this trend is there where they go in and they take advantage of the system, of the welfare programs. You know, there was a scam where in Norway, over 100 Somali women registered that they divorced their husbands so they could receive divorce welfare. And so that's the thing. They would, on paper, divorce their husbands, still have babies with those husbands, and the families would be racking in like $80,000 in benefits per year. They did that. And
have never been eligible.
That's bizarre.
I hit the wrong thing, George. It populated in. Sorry, hold on. Take that out. You keep going.
That's what's going on. You have divorce fraud. They'll come up with fake names, fake businesses in Norway, Denmark, the UK. This is not a new thing here. And when we talk about the adolescent Somali gangs, they're international. These gangsters exist in Malmo, Sweden, which used to be one of the safest places in Europe. Malmo was safe. And then the refugee thing happened, and all these Somalians came in, and different people from different areas, Iraq, Syria, and it's now a transnational criminal city, to the point where the neighboring large city in Denmark, I think it's Copenhagen.
Yes.
They closed their border to Malmo. They said, we don't want people coming in from Malmo. So these two European countries closed their borders to each other because of the Somalians and Iraqis and Bangladeshis and Pakistanis, like all these groups coming in. So it's not just in Somalia that this happens. It's everywhere. And I reported on a story about this elected official in Lewiston, Maine. Now you'd think Lewiston, Maine, that's in Maine. Only white people live there. But Portland, Maine, Lewiston, I think Auburn, Maine, these three cities have a huge concentration of Somalians. There's like 20,000 or so, over like 30,000 maybe. But there's a lot of Somalians that live there. And they are rigging city council seats. There's a guy who said he lived in the 5th Ward in Lewiston, and he actually didn't live there. And he just got indicted recently by the state of Maine for stealing guns. So he's from Somalia. Yeah, from Somalia.
Yeah. I remember I saw that now.
Yeah. I made the
video
on
that.
Yeah. And it was on X. So isn't that crazy? Like the same thing that's going on in Minneapolis is happening in Maine. Maine is like what you would imagine as a white state, like snow. Like that's what you think about when you think of a state that's like an original American state. And now it's full of Somalis who are rigging school board. He's also currently on the school board. And so he got elected to the city, to the 5th Ward in Lewiston. And now, he's going to get arrested, or has been indicted on those 2 charges of gun theft. He didn't just steal one gun. He stole from multiple people 2 different times.
Do you know what's interesting about that, George? So we are dealing with this fraud here in Minnesota, and one of the things that you will see if you're washing up on this. So we have a bunch of the city council members of Minneapolis are Somalian. One in particular, he's knee deep in this whole fraud scandal. And just the other day, he showed up at every presser he could show up at, and he was always in the background at these pressers. But he's actually one of the people under investigation for the fraud.
Yeah, well, that's the situation, the circumstance that's created by having such a large population in one place. Because this is the problem. If Somalians were like the Italians or the Irish in terms of how they immigrate, because the Irish immigrated, but they spread around the country. They go to different places. Yeah, there's still a concentration, but then they also absorb the local culture. There's a meme going on in the Somali community. I see it on TikTok where they say, on X as well, where they say Minnesota was promised to them like 3,000 years ago, similar to Jews in Israel. They say Minnesota is our promised land, and there's these memes, and it's like, what is that about? You know what? Like, okay, I get it. It's kind of funny. It's like, hey, you know, they try to tone down the temperature by making jokes. That's cool. But, you know, there's an underlying message about that, which is they do want to conquer Minnesota, and they think it belongs to them in a literal way now. And I think it's only a matter of time before Ilhan Omar or someone else starts to run for governor. And you know the white liberals in your state would probably vote for her because they're the ones that put her in Congress.
I want to make something very clear. I looked at Seth Keshel's numbers out of Hennepin County. So Seth Keshel was covering the 2020 election. There is no way you're going to ever be able to convince me that Hennepin County turned out 110,000 more voters for Joe Biden than they did for Hillary Clinton, when the most exciting presidential candidate we had in terms of, not we, but the Democrats had, was Barack Obama. And do you know what kind of a lift he got back in 2008 above the previous vote total in Hennepin County?
Wow.
30,000.
Okay. That's a lot. That's a difference.
That's a huge number. 30,000 more vote total increase out of Hennepin County. Okay. And that was with somebody who was actually exciting. And now you're going to tell me that Joe Biden, who nobody was excited about, all of a sudden picked up 110,000 more votes than Hillary Clinton.
Well, that actually adds to my point, right? If the system is not even fair at all and accurate in any way, and they commit these shenanigans, it would make it really easy for someone like Ilhan Omar to consolidate support in the Democrat primary and become your governor and really destroy the state. And let's imagine there's a Democrat administration in the White House, God forbid, anytime soon, and she's the governor of Minnesota. You know, she's going to import like 200,000. You think 80,000 or 100,000 or 110,000 Somalians is bad? Wait till there's like 500,000 of them that dominate the Twin Cities. So that's kind of the problem. And it'll really just be down to, you know, these like the white liberals who, because the majority of her district it's still going to be white liberals, Midwestern. And they have like this view, which is it's like an innocent heart almost. Yeah, of course they want to murder children, babies, whatever. But like if you think about how they view someone like Ilhan Omar, it's a very pure, you know what? She's still one of us. Like, you know, she might have married her brother, but you know, we'll kind of just put that aside because you know what? It's just about her she believes what we believe. They have no idea that she is of a people that don't believe women are first-class citizens. They believe women are second-class citizens. They don't really put two and two together. Ilhan Omar is serving a religion and a people that are still in the 15th century. It's
worse than that. They're not even in the 15th century in a good way. I mean, they were backwards in the 15th century. Now here, let me, I'm going to share, I found that other video, and I got that all up for us. So I'm going to just open this. This is another startling revelation here in Minnesota with the fraud scandal in Ilhan Omar.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004. He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next hour.
So there you go. There he is posing, hamming it up with Ilhan Omar, Governor Walz, and all of that is taking place here in Minnesota as the revelations grow from $1 billion to $7 billion. And the other thing, George, right now there's a big PR campaign by the Somalian community and Ilhan Omar and others going around talking about how Minnesota is their home and that how they really like the United States of America and everything. So I just want to throw this reminder video
in jidadkeennii aan wada dhisano anigu waan ahay gabar Mareykanka laga doortay oo Congress-ka Mareykanka ku jirto laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed gabar idinku jinsi ah gabar idinku af ah gabar idinku diin ah oo ahade qof iyadoo da'yar wadankeedii laga kaxeeyay wili xiise u qabto in maalin wadankeedii ay ku noolaato.
So does she talk? Is she talking like an American citizen there, folks? She's saying that it's, she shares the religion.
Boo. That's not in English. That's not English. And, I saw this video that really angered me. I think it was Nick Shirley interviewing these Somalians, some of them. And they were saying, like, you would ask them a question in English and they'd be like, oh, no English, no English. It's like,
yeah. And did you see the other one where the guy went out and did the street interviews and asking them if they preferred Sharia law?
And they were like, yes, I prefer Sharia. It's like, what are you here for? What's funny is, the right will say an example of a society with Sharia law is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is actually moving away from that. Like the crown prince is allowing women to drive. Like they know it's so bad that they're moving away from it. Like, and you have Somalians that come to America and go, yeah, we need to bring it here. When the Saudis, the Mecca is in Saudi Arabia, the home of Islam. They're moving away from it. They're saying this thing is holding us back economically because half our workforce are at home oppressed in burqas, and they're finally dropping restrictions on the hijab. You can actually go to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia now without wearing 1 billion face coverings. It's only a matter of time before they start letting churches get built. Yeah. Same thing with the UAE, with Qatar. These countries are trying to secularize because they know Sharia law has failed them and has destroyed their reputations globally, and their citizens' morale is at an all-time low. And now they're like, let's move away from that. And then Somalians come in, a country that's way worse than a Saudi Arabia or a UAE, and they're coming in like, yeah, let's do Sharia law in Minnesota. Ridiculous.
No, well, and I want you to go back to okay. I'm going to take back to her previous statement that misses her country and wishes to live there. So, folks, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have enough money to move back. I mean, how many in the Lumberjack Logic audience would be willing to help her with airfare and moving expenses to get her back to Somalia? Obviously, she wishes to live there. That's what she just said. So how many of you want to help her achieve her dream of moving back to Somalia? Just a quick question for the chat. And I'll it's crazy. But yet they try to tell us that, note that when they're talking about Minnesota, they talk about how Minnesota is welcoming, but they're not talking about, they like the fact that we're welcoming. This is the whole thing. Who's the person? Was that Alice Beth Stuckey? What is the name of the gal who talks? She wrote a book, I think, about the weaponized compassion.
I don't know who that is.
They're weaponizing our compassion against us.
That is exactly what's going on.
It's exactly what's going on. And so, folks, don't worry. I mean, I think, and I do believe that as more revelations of fraud come to light, well, I'm hoping there's justice. I'll mention My Pillow one more time here, folks, and then I've got a question for George before we end this stream. I'd love to see your answers to that upcoming question as well. But again, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Folks, the number is 1-800-568-2865. Could be the future governor of Minnesota. I'm going to be down there on the 11th, George. I'm going down to the cities because that is where he is going to announce for certain that he is running. So I'm going to go down to Minneapolis and get together with Mike at the Pillow Factory, my friend. So, but if you want to support him, great deals going on over there right now. So, George, here's the real question, though. I mean, obviously, Ilhan Omar, okay, we got a birth certificate or a marriage certificate with her brother. Okay, we've got, so she's here fraudulently. She should not be serving in the U.S. Congress. She should not.
Yeah.
Okay. She wants to move back to Somalia. We just heard her say that.
Yeah.
She's involved in all this fraud. We know she's involved in vote thievery as well. We've got the undercover video from
James O'Keefe.
So we've got a host of things. Is she ever going to face justice? What are your thoughts?
So I'm going to say this, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but I want you to really think about it. Donald Trump is not the conclusion of the America First MAGA movement. Trump is the tame version. Right? Trump is the guy that brings awareness to the fact that she married her brother. She committed fraud. But there's going to be a future Trump that will take these things to the next level, that will bring a level of accountability that no one has ever seen before. That means Trump won't necessarily go as far as to, denaturalize and deport because she did commit fraud on her immigration documents. He won't do that because Trump still kind of wants to maintain a little bit of the status quo, but we will have a future president, ladies and gentlemen, who will come in and say, yeah, that's fraud. We're going after her. So it might not be now, but that next Trump, that next orange man, the more oranger Trump is going to come in at some point. And I think that's inevitable. They say Trump is racist. Wait till we have a real racist president in the White House, right? Wait till we have a president who takes it to that next extreme. And we don't know who that could be. Is that J.D. Vance? We don't know yet. But that president will come. It might not be in 2028 or 2032 or 2036. It might be 2040. It might be then. And that president will go after, because that's the inevitable conclusion of all of this. Like, this is all brewing, this discontent with the fact that she is somebody who lied, her still living and serving in Congress. Like, there's a serious problem here, and it will be correct. Yeah.
Very serious problem, George. I mean, this is, it's a mockery of our whole constitutional system.
It used to be said that, and it used to be kind of like a meme that, oh, you marry someone for a visa, and then and you marry someone for, like, you'll have these like older white ladies marry Matumbo from Congo, and he gets a green card, and it's like that was like obvious immigration, workarounds, right? But like marrying your brother, like that's where we're at. Like that's how far that meme became reality. And then serving in Congress, that's like even worse than that. It's like this progression of complete and utter lunacy. But yeah, to your point, I think we need accountability. And I think it's gonna come. If they're arresting someone she's in pictures with, it's only a matter of time before. Because I think Corey Lewandowski, who is advisor to Kristi Noem at the Department of Homeland Security, said on Benny Johnson's show that, there's an investigation. He couldn't comment on the situation with her specifically, but there's an investigation as to whether she violated immigration law. I think Secretary Marco Rubio needs to look into that as well, because that is within his jurisdiction. Those two departments need to be working overnight because you got to find something on her, because we know about the rumors and everything else and the evidence, but you got to find that hard thing that you can go and use and just do whatever you need to do.
Well, I understand, they talk about building cases, George, and I see a bunch of people
Someone
disagreeing.
said Trump is going to send Ilhan Omar somewhere other than America. We don't really believe that, though. It's not going to happen this time.
Well, see, this is the thing. A lot of people are disagreeing with you. I hope he does.
I hope so, but I don't see it.
Well, and then, we got, again, Tish James, no re-indictment of her.
Well, they tried to, but the grand jury rejected the indictment. Yeah. And it's sad. And that would have been avoided if Pam Bondi just strategized a little better.
Yeah. Whatever. I think Pam Bondi is what she is. You and I talked about this before. Trump picked people who were made for TV.
And that's all she does.
All she does. She's I think she obviously is and Dan Bongino waxed eloquently about her the other day, I think, because he feels he gets the support he wants, which is probably true. I mean, he's certainly going to get more support than he would under Merrick Garland, but I still keep thinking how close we were to having Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court, George.
Right. That would have been the worst thing in the world, but that's the best thing Mitch McConnell ever gave us. He gave us that. Did he use the filibuster for that? Because
no, he just had a way of getting everything done, and so we did get some judges that weren't quite as good as we wanted.
No, with Merrick Garland, because Obama nominated Garland.
Yeah, he used the filibuster.
Oh, then we need to keep the filibuster. No, we gotta get rid of it now, because Trump is right. They're going to come in and completely demolish the system if they get a chance. So we need to get rid of it for our own good.
Well, George, I want to thank you for joining me. Folks, everybody, thanks for joining me on the show today. We'll see you on the next episode. And
why my hands move? What's going on with my...
Oh, look at that. What is going on with your hands? Everybody look at George's hands.
I'm becoming Blacker Carlson.
Blacker Carl. Was that one of your channels? Was that one of your channels at one time? Was that Blacker Carl? I know you were.
It was one of the... it was Chocolate Superman, and one of my nicknames that I made was Blacker Carl. But this is kind of... it's the green screen. It thinks I'm in a... But my hand isn't green. Why is it... Oh, look at that. Hey, United States of America, there's oil. Oil has been found. Do not invade, please. Do not. Oil has been found in George land.
MyPillow.com/lumberjack, folks. Big Christmas sales going on. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. All right. Peace out.
Lindsey Graham.